You're listening to Real with Coach Herb and B, a podcast that brings you community and culture with your host, Coach Herb and B.
Your beard start looking like a fisherman. Your character, B looks like Kurt, but you look like the fisherman from Jaws or something, bro.
You like that?
It's not accurate with your real beard. Your real beard looks.
Man.
Your real
y'all.
Beard is fly.
Right.
Your real beard is fly. I'm talking about your cartoon beard.
My cartoon beard. I tried to compose it to get as close as possible. But
he actually sent me a whole nother avatar, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Well, because mine doesn't look
right.
good.
Hey y'all, it's Coach Herb. Welcome to our podcast. And my girl, as usual, Miss B, and
Hey, what's
the
up,
guy
y'all?
behind the avatar is Mr. Ben, and I have one of my closest friends and a guy that I admire, Mike Ellison, who joined us tonight to, go over a few topics of life and all of that good stuff. So say what's up, y'all.
What up,
Thanks
though?
for
What's
joining
happening?
us, Mike.
Thanks for having
What
me.
up, Joe?
What up,
We
though?
truly appreciate it.
Detroit. That's that Detroit thing. What up,
Yes, absolutely.
So let's get real, y'all.
Let's get real,
Mr.
bro.
Ben, what you got for us tonight?
Thank you for the nice introduction, Coach. Mike, if you wouldn't mind just taking a couple minutes to kind of explain to our listeners and our viewers who may or may not know a whole lot about you, can you give a kind of a brief little rundown about your career and where it's kind of brought you to today?
I'll give you the basics, man. You can't make me talk about myself. But I was my parents from South Jamaica, Queens. My mother emerged, I'd say, from the 40 projects. My father, St. John's graduate, track standout, and he accepted a position overseas. So I have the privilege of being born in the motherland, in the beautiful country of Ethiopia. Raised in Reston, Virginia. Graduated from the University of Virginia. Started my career in basically public relations and marketing and professional sports. And then Detroit transformed me into what I call an executive artist. And that path has allowed me to release independent albums, to do roughly a dozen films, tours with nonprofits, work in Ethiopia, connecting with grassroots organizations in Detroit and throughout the country. And got a good start there.
Yeah.
Wow, I was
Like-
just definitely kind of seems like you're a more nowadays Renaissance man. Seems like you do a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take that fancy title. I think it's just it's the era we're in where you have to have a broad skill set, I think, and if you're gonna be independent. And so, I never really consider myself to be in any particular industry. There's industry and there's artistry. Sometimes the industry produces incredible artistry. And sometimes there's artistry that goes under the radar that has nothing to do with the industry. And so I just found a balance of both, and that works for me,
How is it being independent?
Hard
Yeah.
and
Can
rewarding.
I was going to say, can you explain that a little better? Because I know,
Yeah.
it's a different world when you're independent.
Sure. I mean, so as an actor, I started at the Detroit Repertory Theater and did 1,000 commercials and training videos and all sorts of stuff you're never gonna see. Some theater. And then when the film industry came to Michigan, I was able to book some pretty cool roles. So that you're still within the industry. Most recently, very, very, very cool honor to play in a scene on Chicago Fire with Eamon Walker, who's a legend and a true gentleman and just incredible human. So that was big. But as an artist, in terms of spoken word or music, I've been independent. And what that means basically is not having a label that's going to help you record, market, promote, or do any of that. Not having a huge management team. I never really had a management team. It was just, me. I had people that I could subcontract and help. My father, before he passed in 2010, helped me with public relations. But independent means doing everything on your own. And for me, it means doing what works for you. You know, the big turning point for me was that my whole life I dreamt of going back to Ethiopia where I was born. My mother used to raise me like, you know, she used to say to me, "You're my Ethiopian child. You were born in Ethiopia for a reason. You're my African child." And you know, I romanticized about going back to Ethiopia just to see. You know, unlike most, you know, we in America promote a very negative image of Africa. I had a very positive. In fact, Africa was oversold to me. But long story short, I connected with some doctors in Detroit that were building infrastructure, medical infrastructure in Ethiopia. And I went as part of a mission, brought a song with me that I recorded in my independent studio. I self-engineered and all that. And the song became a hit. And this was before social media. It became a huge hit in the country, and people knew my story and wanted to reconnect with people that I knew when I was there. There was a woman like a second mother to me that we didn't know if she was dead or alive. And through that song and television, I reconnected with her. It was just a beautiful story. I mean, I visited, I released the song, shot a video, left. 6 months later, I come back. The entire country knew the song. It was singing the song, and they called me Mickey and asking me if I found my second mom. And it was just beautiful to be in the far reaches of the country at the Nile River, and kids emerged from the Nile River singing my song and screaming my name. Changed everything. You know, I cried. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I cried like a natural born baby.
As you should. That's pretty cool.
Oh man, it was amazing. But what it did for me, B, was, and Herb knows, he knows the glory and the graciousness of the motherland. But what it did for me was it showed me I can have an impact on lives without all of these constructs that they telling me I have to have. Where you gotta be hot, you gotta talk about, you gotta get some sex and violence in there, and then you gotta do this, and you gotta be down with these people, and you gotta kiss this ass, and you gotta do this. And man, listen, I gave that song to one DJ in Addis Ababa, a DJ named DJ Fasu, and these kids in an ancient town called Lalibela. And then I went on television, and that thing just went all over the country, and people embraced it.
Wow.
So that let me know.
Still good.
Say what?
I said word of mouth is still good, bro.
Yeah, I mean, that was before social media. And I think the Ethiopian culture is very humble. And so we approached it that way. And I think, like, knowing I was born there and I still had a positive image of the country, that mattered. And just coming with some humility, they just embraced it, man. Those kids and those people just blessed me, man.
Yeah, it's a funny story too, because like when I first met Mike, it was like, hey, and then I don't know who we were talking to. I think we were talking to Kevin or the other guy, and we have another friend named Mike, and he was like, yeah, he's African too, man. He's from Ethiopia, and I'm like, nah, I've seen Ethiopians, man. He don't look Ethiopian, but I mean, he is light skinned. Like there's a lot of light skinned people in Ethiopia. Complexion wise,
and a lot of dark skinned folks in the southern
there
region,
is a lot of dark skinned,
original Ethiopians, as they say sometimes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we hear those stories too. I was like, well, I have a lot of Ethiopian friends, but he's a little bit tall. He's like a little bit more athletic looking and taller, because Ethiopians, like, they're like long distance runners. So they're built a little different from, like, it goes region by region, like east, middle, central, and then you got West Africa and South Africa. So it's a lot of different body styles, I guess. And I was like, okay. But then, then obviously Mike told me the story that he was just born there, and then I met his mom and his family and everything like that. And it was like really cool, because she was like, oh, you're from Africa? And I was like, yes, ma'am.
When did you all get here?
These were like,
oh, me or her? Me?
You.
Oh.
They don't care about my life anymore, Mike.
Nah, man, let me tell you
I
something.
know Herb.
But yo, if your audience don't know, Herb is a wrestling legend, and Herb was and is, but he was African before it was cool to be African, and Herb endured a lot of ignorance and like the gracious people. I mean, I used to wonder, like, man, this brother, he don't let anybody bother him. But then when you go to the continent and you see how people, like what my friend Aku says, a lot of Africans have gracious manners. And I always admired that about Herb. He still has it. You know, my mom said, I saw Herb the other day. He gave me a big smile and da da da. But we came, I was like, I don't know, like somewhere like 3 or something. I didn't remember anything about Ethiopia. But, well, I think instinctively I did. And on a spiritual level, because like there's a saying in Ethiopia, it's which means like my umbilical cord is buried in the soil. So I will always return there. And as soon as I got back there, it's just something like the smell of the spices and the food and the wood burning in certain places. And then like the music, it just spoke to me immediately. Like, yup, this is where I'm supposed to be. Yeah.
So, that's pretty cool.
So Mike, how would you say that your the time that you've gone back to do work in Ethiopia, to visit, how has that kind of shaped, the work that you do today and the things that you do as an independent worker, artistry, and then your activism work as well?
It changed everything. Because I still had a lot of Western ignorance to unlearn. It inspired me. It birthed what I call Afro flow, reminding people the roots of hip hop and humanity. It just made me see that you could do impactful work if you had the right intention and you support the right cause and support the right people. A lot of times, we want to create something new, some new organization or this or that, but there's plenty of people doing the work that you could support. My hero in Ethiopia is a woman named Sister Tebeba Mako, and she's a nurse by trade, and then started this organization where she cares for orphans, but families with dignity. You know what I mean? Like if a child loses their family, she'll pair them with the closest living relative and then lend support to that family, educate them, empower them. She's teaching young girls how to do jobs that were typically just for men. She showed me what leadership and tenacity and selflessness is. And to be very honest with you, most of us aren't built with what she has. But what I realized is I could use my platform to support the works of people like her. And that's where it really influenced my work. Or I'm not even really comfortable when people call me an activist, because I look at the activists that lay their life on the line. You know what I mean? And sometimes pay the ultimate price. And I think we all like social media activists these days. Not to say that, myself and my team and people I've worked with, we put blood, sweat, and tears in whatever we've done. But I'm just not altogether comfortable calling myself an activist, because the people that I revere put themselves in harm's way, like Representative John Lewis, arrested 45 times, beat upside the head,
Yeah. Did you watch that funeral?
No,
but the whole, everything that's happening over the course of.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't. And part of the reason I didn't is just like, I think as an artist, well, I don't want to restrict this to artists, but I'm a bit of an empath, and there's a lot going on. And at some point, what I realized, we have to protect our psyche and our spirit. These phones are amazing tools, but we also don't know the long-term effect they're having on us. Now my scientists out there may correct me, but my understanding is that like, if your sight is not impaired and you're looking at whatever, I'm looking at you, I'm looking at the room I'm in, my eye actually sees a lot more, but my brain reduces that information to a bandwidth that I can actually perceive. You follow what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, what you say, Herb?
Yeah. I said okay.
So what I'm saying is, I don't know that we've evolved to where we're used to taking in 5,000 images a day, where we just look at this, 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 and how your mind processes it. Everybody I know, like, their sense of time, even before COVID, is just off. Something that happened last month feels like 2 years ago. Something 2 years ago feels like last week.
Yeah.
And so my point is just, Herb, and B, like, as Black folks, what we endure. Even if you ain't in the so-called hood, how many times you get checked, pulled over, heart beating through your chest, and then the self-hatred that you get from your own people. So my point is just constantly, I told my friends, man, stop sending me the latest, person getting beat up, shot. I can't, just can't keep taking that in. We know what the issues are. We all doing our part. I'm doing my little part, trying to support the people who are doing their major part. So as it relates to Representative Lewis, I'll watch all of that as a different time. But I'm celebrating the fact that finally a Black man who was bold and unashamed and spoke direct actually got to live out his life without being killed prematurely.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So
oh yeah.
And then maybe I've seen pictures, but maybe I'll watch the footage when they crossed the Pettus Bridge when they changed the name.
That's what I watched. I only watched one portion of the whole thing that I thought was probably like the most important, which was him crossing over that bridge in his casket back over that bridge again. That's his last time. And then his, him going through that whole Bloody Sunday was kind of like, that's crazy, right? So I don't know.
Yeah. My favorite moment
very
was
emotional.
It was. That's why I couldn't do it yet. But my favorite moment was him crossing that bridge with the president and all those other leaders.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there were some women, right? Like, a lot of times the women get lost in the sauce when we talk about civil rights. In fact, this is a tangent, but the woman that Martin Luther King himself called the mother of the movement was a woman named Septima Clark. And a lot of people refer to Mary McLeod Bethune as the mother of the struggle. And you got Dorothy Height, Shirley Chisholm ran for president and caught hell. Like, there's a long line of women, warriors on that front line. You know what I mean? That because of why we fight this,
they need.
They don't get it. They don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like.
Yeah.
I feel like. In this world, like, we just have what is it? Microphone.
Tunnel vision.
Like just enclosed minds that just don't open up to seeing what other people are doing. Like, they'll just pick a name. Unfortunately, it's like white people will say, "Oh, so and so did all this." Like, all of these, like, so-called men that did this, but realistically, just side by side should be a woman saying. They should be saying her name as well as his name. Like,
that's right.
They wouldn't say Martin Luther King. They should be saying, his wife as well. But it's just one of those things where society has set it up like that. Even to this day, like, a lot of the politics, like, they like, oh, how can we ever have a woman president? Like, that's just crazy to me, where everywhere else in this world there's women presidents or women prime ministers everywhere.
That's right.
Women in power. Yeah.
Women in power. Like, it's not, if you look
but
at that
here,
model, and they're not doing it, they're not like doing it anything bad in their country, but we're still like, it feels like we're still back in the dark ages a little bit sometimes.
Well, we are. We're hypocritic. We're hypocrites.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're a very hypocritical nation. And me, Herb, we've been talking, these issues been on my mind since elementary school. So when we were in high school, everybody wanted to hoop. Like, man, nobody want to hear that, man. Just check the ball up. Shut up and dribble.
Yeah, shut up and dribble. It'd be funny because we'd be playing, and then Mike just starts spouting off, and then somebody in the background be like, "Come on, man, we're trying to play 5-on-5 right now. Come on, Mike. He might be like,
But
I
see,
want
I-
to gotta hear this real quick. And
That'd be in between games, not during the
yeah,
game.
in between games, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, let me get some of that water first.
We had an event the other day at a theater in Purcellville called You're So Articulate. It's part of a series dealing with these issues. And Daryl Branch came out, which I appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, man, you know, he was bringing up all the stuff that he knew. Like there was one year with on the South Lakes team, we had the option of wearing some new Reeboks. And at the time, Reebok had not divested from South Africa. And so to trying to dismantle apartheid, a lot of the, you know, black folks were leading the boycott. And I was like, I ain't wearing Reebok. And
you know
Mm-hmm.
that remind me of the Fab Five with their whole like socks thing and like the whole everything. And I little would I know that it was like at South Lakes too.
Jay wrote like he a friend of mine in Detroit does some incredible work with youth that attend Jalen Rose's Academy. And we had a fundraiser last year that Jay Rose attended himself. And he's a real one. You know what I mean? Like he's about that life, and he's Detroit through and through, but he's doing what he's doing his part and then some.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
like
it's a long road.
A lot more people need to do that. And you know, I was watching this show, and Draymond Green, who's from Michigan as well, and he was talking about how he, you know, a lot of athletes, sometimes they just go through and they do camps, and, you know, sometimes they'll do a free camp or whatever. And he's saying to himself, he's thinking like, you know, it's actually time to actually teach our youth more so than just, you know, just give them a basketball and do some drills and be like, sign some autographs. But you really need to just say, we need to sit down and learn.
You touching on why, number one, to me, like Kareem doesn't get talked enough about as the greats, but like, but like, this is why if you're a black man or woman and you don't love LeBron James, something wrong with you, because I know from working in sports, LeBron has shifted the whole game. Let me tell you why. Okay, and not just by himself, but like, God bless the late Stuart Scott, my frat brother, but like, you can't have a sports show now without black voices, and you got to have people who actually played the game, because there used to be a bunch of pencil neck journalists who never made, like, you know what I'm saying, intramural anything, and they sitting around because they had journalism degrees. So now just to have a legit sports show, you got to have a Jay Rose, you got to have Perkins, you got to have Scotty, you got to have that. There were a handful of black agents trying to shake things up, but black players felt in order to get paid, they had to go with white agents. Then what happens when an athlete comes to a town, if he's a major athlete, football or basketball, otherwise, everybody around them, the team just comes at them with white folks. And their goal is to separate that athlete from their friends and family. I know this whole story well. I mean, I when I was in Detroit, I worked with a number of athletes, including Joe Dumars. I'm not saying that happened with him, but I saw other athletes all over the place. And they come at you like, okay, this is who you should buy your house from. You know what I mean? Or you should go get a membership at this golf place, or you should go here to eat, and this person can help you with it. And it's all these folks around you, and then people around the team that also make money off you on the slide, off your memorabilia, off bringing people to come visit, shake your hand, and they got the cash. I mean, it's just tons of ways. And LeBron and Rich Paul are killing all of that. And on top of that, what they also do is anybody with some consciousness, they run out the league like they did Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, like they did Craig Hodges. And that's also why I think, because Kareem had consciousness, they kept him away from certain players that could influence the thinking. You see what I mean? So I'm not faulting the players. You know the circumstances they come out of, right? But here's LeBron James. He literally comes from a place they call the bottom. No real father, far as I know, never played for some legendary basketball mind. He didn't come up under, you know, a Dean Smith, a John Thompson, anything like that. And yet he's a basketball savant. does it all right on the court, and then off the court has stood in step for everyone, but especially his people. Yeah. So, and now that is catching on, and your Draymonds and other people are saying, okay, we could do a camp, but man, you know what I'm saying? Like these kids, like Herb, look, B, let me tell you, in a lot of cities all over America, and they're just black, white, Latino, you name it, the number one issue for youth is food.
Right.
Yeah.
They hungry. They're going to school hungry. People don't understand that. We call other nations third world, which is a demeaning term in and of itself. I call them redeveloping nations because Africa was the cornerstone of all of this. But anyway, you know, it's food insecurity. They're hungry.
Right.
And all this is coming to a head right now.
Yeah.
So I see I got one of them tangents, B. I'm sorry.
Oh no. I'm trying to hold myself back because I know that I have a lot of feelings. A lot of stuff.
Don't hold back, sister.
Like, so you know, we like I said before, we grew up together, so it was like Mike was good guy. Just we were all basically all pals. We went to each other's houses, hung out. Mike played on the basketball team, the legendary 1989 basketball team, state semifinals.
I was going to ask that.
They should have won it all, but you know, they just ran into a little bit of a team that was full of some tougher, let's just say tougher guys. Hampton High School, right, Mike? Was that the semifinal game?
Yeah,
man. It's bringing back bad memories. I know, but
you don't want my opinion about that.
Look, man. You know, it's 2020, man. You can bring it back just a little bit. You know.
Hey, man.
That was a hell of a run y'all went on, man. You know.
It was a nice run, but man, we didn't get to the final game, bro. Like.
I know. Hey.
That was painful. I got my feelings about it.
You won districts, you won regionals, you should have won states. But you know,
at least you made it that far.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, I mean, you know what? I have nothing but fond memories playing basketball. Team sports have influenced me my whole life. Team victories are more fun to celebrate. You know, I think both of y'all know the African proverb: if you want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go together. But sometimes you can't roll with everybody because what you see and what you understand and what they see are two different things. And if you become aware of certain things around you, like racism, and it's blatant, and you're the only one talking about it, it becomes a very lonely position that you find yourself in.
I feel you, man. I felt it from day one. So. Like I said, I dealt with, I would say prejudice and racism all lumped into like the same thing when I was growing up because
you got extreme self-hatred people with extreme self-hatred aimed at you, bro. You got it. I mean, Herb, that's how I told you. You got my maximum respect. You can call me anytime, anything I could do to support what you doing, bro.
Right, brother. So it's good to have you give us a little bit more perspective on life, man, because you know I've dealt with different things and you've dealt with different things, and like as far as like what do you think that your future is looking like as far as all the other stuff that you're doing, all the projects you're doing and stuff like that?
Man, you know what? A guy I like listening to this mystic yogi and author named Sadhguru, but he said, I don't know it. 3 of the most powerful words because they open the door to learning. And to be honest with you, brother, I don't know because I couldn't have predicted some of the things I've experienced. I mean, what I can tell you that I can control, I'm going to continue doing a lot of voice work, which I do. I'm going to be continuing with this series, You're So Articulate, here in Virginia. So I'm back and forth between Virginia and Detroit. But most of the time when I was in Virginia, it was just about laying low and seeing family. Now, especially because of the times, I want to be involved and reconnect and contribute somehow. In short, I would just say I've been very blessed to match my passion with meaningful causes that are bigger than me. You know, if you can connect with something that's bigger than yourself, then it makes it easier to rope in your ego. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if you start getting caught up in all this other stuff, then it can take you astray. So right now, in the times that we're in, and then there's people close to me I've lost in Detroit and overseas, I'm just grateful for life itself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just striving to be better every day, listen more, love more, a little more open-minded, unlearn the ignorance and blind spots that I still have.
Right.
I know that sounds esoteric, but that's really how I look at it right now.
Yeah, same here, bro. I'm still a work in progress, even at my old age. Still learning, man. Still learning how to deal with.
I want your audience to know, you definitely older than me. Significantly.
Yeah. Trust. Hence, you know, the avatar that
the
has
greatness.
the whole gray. Yeah.
The greatness of the beard.
Comes with wisdom. It comes with wisdom and knowledge. Hopefully,
now see, look,
growing.
Your real beard is fly. You look like a griot, but your cartoon beard got you looking like a raggedy fisherman, bro.
Yeah. You know, that was my artwork choice, but you know,
hey man, you chose your cowboy shirt and your cowboy's hat, and I said, I don't know about that.
Yay. How about that? They about to change the Redskins name. How about that?
Yeah, Washington football team right now. How about that?
I never rooted for them except one time, and you know that's when Doug Williams was quarterback.
Yep.
That shows you.
Tonight.
But look, that shows you. What you say, B?
I said that's all they needed, because obviously.
Look, think about this. I mean, we were little kids, but when Doug Williams won, the men in my family and other black men I know, they celebrated like we won the presidency.
Yeah.
That's how ignorant our country still was. America didn't think a black man could be quarterback. Think about that.
That was in the 80s, bro.
And that's not that long ago. Yeah,
that ain't that long
year
ago.
Was that?
That wasn't that long ago.
What was that, like 87, 88?
Yeah. 87. 87, 88.
Not that long ago.
I know, man.
It's crazy.
They were out in the street screaming. It was crazy. Like I wasn't even a Skins fan, and I was happy. I was like,
you was out in the street right with them.
I was like, why am I so happy for them? And I was like,
I mean, because we succeeded. Yeah. I mean, you know,
we did what we've always done, and that's
correct. Yeah, exactly.
Immeasurable odds, and we don't even need a level playing field. You could just put us on the field, and the field could be like that, and we still going to excel because that's who we are.
Yeah,
still win. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Correct.
Right.
I feel so inspired after all.
Right.
Yeah. Bianca, I used to get in trouble in high school for talking like this.
Really?
You know? Oh yeah, I was well, you know, her.
It's funny because like it was in high school, like going up, but your senior year, you also were chosen by your classmates to speak at graduation.
Yes, sir.
So I was there, so you know that brought me to tears because I was like, yo, my man is up there, and I was like, wow.
You want to know the story behind that, Herb? I'm gonna tell you the truth.
I would like to. Mm-hmm.
So number one, leading up to that, myself, Mike Taylor, Carlo, Jimmy Walk, and then another. We didn't know her, but she ended up coming on our ticket. Well, she won, but her name was Aisha Kwaja. But four of us ran for four out of the 5 seats were black boys, and we won, all of us. And I was the president, and it started rocky because they wanted me to say the Pledge of Allegiance before every meeting, and I refused. And I refused on the grounds that I didn't feel that the country had pledged allegiance to us, and also that like there were racist organizations like the Klan and stuff that used the Pledge of Allegiance in a perverted way. And they even wrote about that in the newspaper at South Place.
Yeah.
And then what happened was, when you're graduating, what they've always done is they just take a general vote open to see
Yeah.
who they want to hear from, and then they whittle it down. So there was a committee of students. I'm not going to get into names, but they excluded me and all of my and all of my fellow running mates, Carl, Mike. They created their own ballot, limited it to the names, and said, well, we just figured since you guys were government leaders, the students might want to hear from other people. And it was Miss Cascio, the beautiful Miss Cascio,
Yeah.
who everybody had a crush on back in high school. She was Mrs. Bresnick back then, and then and then Chuck Cascio scooped her up, and then everybody was mad at him, like, oh, in my Dave Chappelle voice, ah, nah, but and she said something's not right about that, and she brought it up and made them do it over. But then I got accused of being mad because I wasn't chosen, and it was this whole big thing. And then yeah, and they did not want me to be on the ballot because they thought I would speak about racism. And I had all these students, like, once students did choose me to speak, and all these students were like, they couldn't even say racism. They were like, are you going to talk about racialism? And I'm like, well, I don't know what that is, but I don't mean to make it neck, but all that happened for me to be able to speak. And I opened the speech by saying, some of you didn't even want me to speak today because you thought I would talk about racism, as if we enjoy the topic. You know, those of us who do, this is why we do, but we're going to move on from that today. And that was the whole thing. And this is at a progressive school, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy.
I remember that, man. That's high school, but that's who we were dealing with.
So, Mike, if you wouldn't mind, would you be able to maybe help any listeners or young people out there who, listening to your story today and hearing the, very expansive life that you've lived, with your travels to your connections that you kind of had, the career path that you've taken, give them some words of advice, whether that be, maybe classes or degrees that they should kind of aim for at college to try and help them keep their options very wide open, internships, mentors that they could kind of to find to help them live, their fullest life, as it seems like you have.
The short answer, yeah, all that you said. I mean, I'd be lying to your audience if I told them I had a master plan. I was headed in one direction, and then I got inspired to go in another. But once I went in that direction, I went full throttle. I can tell you, for me, what worked for me won't work for your audience. It's like, it's my path. But in short, it's just really, you got to believe in yourself. You're willing to bet on yourself. And I was willing to bet on myself. And I think when that happens, God, the universe, kind of supports you. And, you got to get lucky. You got to have the support of other people. There was a sister who, she was a quadriplegic, and she and her mother, God rest both their souls. I lost Sonia a couple years ago, and the mother just passed a couple weeks ago. So we still dealing with that. But these two women actually, when I had left sports and I was starting all over and I was trying to consult and be an artist, and I was on my last dime plenty of times, these two women invested in me as angel investors to help me finance my first album, and refused to let me pay them back, and just said, go out there and keep doing good work. If it wasn't for those women, I don't know that I would have a career.
Right.
So, I mean, I just think, if I'm talking to young cats, you have this tool now, you have these phones and computers. The rules to every game have completely changed. You got to be tenacious. You have to believe in yourself. You got to have a lot more patience than what people want to have nowadays. Because if you get it fast, you're going to lose it fast. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I would just say staying grounded. Like I said, I've been fortunate to be a part of things that are bigger than me. I'm not, the smoke and mirrors of the entertainment industry fools a lot of people. 99 out of 100 of the people you see flossing are not rich. They're not rich, and they're not rich and happy. And there are some success stories, but there's a downside to some of that. I'm not knocking anybody else's career. What works for me is to be able to, the opportunity to work with some talented people. Excuse me, something on my screen here. To be part of a team, to do my best work. Thank God for every opportunity I get lucky sometimes. I mean, some of the most incredible experiences I had, I couldn't have orchestrated myself. What happened in Ethiopia, I couldn't have orchestrated that if I tried. As a result of that, down the line, I was invited to play in a Pan-African dance festival right under Lauryn Hill. It was right before Lauryn Hill. I played Kigali, Rwanda with Lauryn Hill.
Wow.
I couldn't have orchestrated that,
That's awesome.
And for the record, she was incredible and gracious. And we rocked the house that night too. The country invited me to stay an extra week. I got a tour of the Genocide Memorial. A year later, recorded a song with a Rwandan artist called Turikumye, which became the #1 song in that country. I couldn't orchestrate that. So, Ben, I don't mean to dance around your question. I just think that whatever it is you say you're going to do, you got to commit to it. It's not going to happen overnight. You're going to take some lumps, no way around it. And you got to take them and keep swinging. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think you answered that perfectly. There's no, one path fits all for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best part of your message is just the perseverance, is the will to give it your all. I think that's a great answer.
Look, I'll read it to you. There's a poem, and oh man, it was one of the sorry, it's gonna escape me, the author. You can look it up. It's called Press On. But one of the acting instructors I had in Detroit, a man named Harold Hogan, when I was in the depth of a very deep and dark depression, and I was going to open mic night in Detroit Repertory Theater, and that was like my medicine. And I don't know, I felt very close to the end of my rope, and he just happened to give us this poem that I kept in my acting book for years. And now I keep it there. I copy it, I send it to people, but it's really simple. And it says, press on. Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men, or we could say men or people with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education alone will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. That's it.
Yes, sir. And on that note, Steve, what you got for our small business?
Woo. Okay, but hold on.
I know.
Mike.
Get with us. I know Mike got deep on you, and now you.
He did, yeah. You just said,
that's
okay,
my man,
small.
That's my man.
Yes. But I did want to, before I go into the small business, I do want to know if you would praise yourself in your award that you won. I don't know if you want to mention that or anything about that.
If I would praise myself, I ain't never gonna praise myself.
Not praising yourself, but
I would say
you
this:
and your team, everybody you collabed with,
your team, your people, whoever supported you.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
I should have brought it with me, man. So we gotta do a follow up in a few weeks, just so I could put an Emmy next to South Lakes.
You got picture and everything,
yeah. Well, no, I just Detroit became my creative base, my home. I feel like I was transformed in Detroit. I owe Detroit a lot, and so blessed to work with a lot of talented people and some friends of mine, Bill Bowen and LaShawn D. Gary, and I worked on a project with the Detroit Academy of Arts and Sciences Choir, promoting Detroit culture and tourism. I worked with an incredible choir and choir director, Angela Key, and on a remake of One Nation Under a Groove by George Clinton, Parliament Funkadelic. And it went viral before COVID did. And it earned us an Emmy. So we won an Emmy about a month ago that we're very, very proud of because of the quality of the project, the people involved, and the message that was in the song.
Yeah. That was a cool speech that you gave after you
carry that thing
on and giving them the shout out. And if anybody knows, just go on there. I think you can actually YouTube it and it'll pop up.
Yeah, if you put up One Nation, it'll come up. Yeah, what you talking about her? We wanted to shout out Angela Key because she's a choir director, and like a lot of teachers, like she works a full-time job. She's also as you know, the issues we're dealing with as Black folks. It's an intentional system that kind of removes men from the picture. And so a lot of Black women have to stand in the gap the way Angela Key does as a mother, grandmother, auntie, community person. Then she teaches full time, and then she directs this incredible choir, does an incredible job with them. And like a lot of teachers and like a lot of Black women, does not get her just due. So we were really proud to say, no, like this project couldn't happen without you. If we get an Emmy, you get an Emmy. And she did. Mm-hmm. And that was fantastic. It was a win for sisters. It was a win for teachers. It was a win for everybody, not just Black, that believes that music and the arts should be in the schools. So
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we need that.
Okay, well now I can go into the big small business. So
thank you for that, B.
Yeah, of course, right? You know, I'm always just trying to lift everyone and let people know like what people are doing out there, right? And so, you know, as another person to another person, I am so proud of you for winning that Emmy. That's a lot, you know.
Yeah, it was cool.
That's a big thing.
I ran to work and was like, yo, look, my man won an Emmy. My man won an Emmy. Like,
well,
and he did. And he did, yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. But see, you know what, Herb? That's what basketball, team sport, right?
Right.
Like, we don't win an Emmy if it's not those kids, with that choir director, with that composer being LaShawn, with that director being Bill, with, you know, whatever I brought to it, all the dope musicians. We had Larry Fratangelo, who played on the original One Nation. Another brother, Amp Fiddler, who played with Parliament Funkadelic for years. Mm-hmm. Incredible drummers, Rain Man, Chi Amin Ra, like Ife Bez. It's a team. And when the team wins, you celebrate more. You know?
Celebrate.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. So I'm going to take this time to talk about Greater Reston Living, which is our small business of this evening. We will be doing episodes with them, a series more so, very short series about real estate. And so Kathy and Graham Tracy are the owners of Greater Reston Living, and they are located in Plaza America. And that is in Reston, Virginia. And they sell homes in Northern Virginia, of course, but can direct you to anywhere else under Keller Williams. And so I just wanted to take time to highlight them. So you'll see information coming out about their episodes, and we'll help promote her too. And you'll see her information right across here as well. So Greater Reston Living.
And also when you want, you know, food is good and stuff, places as well. So they are some cool people. So man, Mike, I appreciate.
They go every week. Yeah.
And Ben, you know, as usual, you look good, man.
Oh, thanks.
in the background.
Yeah.
That's all right, y'all.
And
when we get Ben's avatar on the side.
Yeah, we're gonna get him on there, man. I guess I gotta, you know, fix my.
We might have to fix your beard
because you know, Mike is saying that the real me doesn't look like the fake me, I guess.
The real you looks even better, huh? But you know, we always got snap on each other a little bit.
Right,
you know?
right. That's
man,
back in the day.
You looking young, healthy, and happy, man. And
Thank you, brother. You too, man. Yes, sir.
We overdue for a drink, man. We get some Uncle Nearest or something.
Yeah, we are. I mean, we're overdue for everything. Like we need to get together. Like the last time we actually got together was probably about 8 years ago when we came home.
It might have been.
That's
that's the trick of social media. It makes you feel like you've seen or talked to people, but then I'm realizing I've not been in your presence in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, the last time I saw you physically was at a basketball game, my son's basketball game, which was over a year ago.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Yep. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I saw young Herb. And your son got more game than you. Nah.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He won a lot more than I did. I only played one sport. He played several. He played football, basketball, lacrosse.
That's dope. That's the plan, right? For the next season to be better in every aspect if possible.
Every aspect. Keep it going. All right, brother. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys. Let you go. You know, I know you're a busy man, and maybe we'll have to link up and do another episode with you if you
anytime, man.
Please allow us to contact.
Yeah, do a follow-up episode for sure.
Yep. Okay.
Well, I'd love to. Anytime, anytime, Herb. Yeah. Anytime. Bianca, so nice meeting you. Ben, nice meeting you.
No, it was so nice meeting you. Thank you.
Yes.
Love what y'all doing. However I can support what you're doing, please let me know.
All right, brother.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, man.
Thanks,
appreciate
Mike.
it.
All right,
y'all. That's a wrap. We'll see you when we see you.
All right, one love.
One love.
The Real to Real podcast is presented by Herbert Williams Bafo and Bianca Moskaitis. Our producer is Ben Runyon. Our technical director is Nick Patry. Audio and video lead is Megan Kotner. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow and like us on Facebook and Instagram at Real to Real and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, or anywhere else podcasts are found. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. It's been real with Coach Herb and B.